Peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Y'all already know what time it is. Just the Facts. That's what we do here at Be the Power, AKA Freedman University, AKA Free.U. Make sure y'all hit that like button, fam. Share this video out to everybody. Let them know that we are challenging the right-wing propaganda arm tonight. Let them know that we are challenging the right-wing propaganda arm tonight in PragerU. I pulled back because I was like really gonna go in tonight. But I decided that I was gonna pull back because I want to see if any of these people are brave enough to come on a platform and have like a real debate. I just wanted to see. So I want to put the challenge out there to the people of PragerU and, Turning Point USA and all of these different right-wing propagandist machines. So let's be clear. We are not Democrats. We are not Republicans. We are not conservatives. We are not liberals. We are reparationists. We're not libertarians. We are none of those other political ideologies. We are throwbacks to our ancestors, Hiram Revels, Blanche Bruce, et cetera, et cetera. We're throwbacks of them guys, throwbacks. And we are here to resurrect the freedman name so that our people in these days and times can finish the unfinished business of Reconstruction. That's what this platform, that's what BTP, Be the Power is dedicated to. Malcolm spoke about the conservative and the liberal, the Republican, whom we call here on Be the Power platform, the Neo-Confederates, as being the wolves. They'll growl at you. Their intent is to let you know that I'm showing my teeth so that I can chew you up, eat you, kill you, rip you to shreds. He then gave an analogy of the fox, the Democrats, And he said the Democrats come with a smile, the liberals. They come with a smile, but they'll eat you up just the same. I'll paraphrase there. But we have to know that we as freedmen, the descendants of the freedmen here in the United States of America, are in between the fox and the wolf. So tonight's live stream is dedicated to touching on some of the lies of Prager University. This new right-wing push that says that critical race theory is this bad thing. And don't get me wrong, anything that becomes politicized will eventually erode. It's just a part of the American political system. It's the American way, actually. So I'm going to bring my brothers on, and we're going to get into this because we feel that it's necessary to start pushing back against the lies of groups of right-wingers that come in blackface, like the Amal person of PragerU. We're going to get to her. Matter of fact, we're going to open this thing up with one of her statements. Then we're going to play one of the videos of this person, and then we're going to get into critical race theory. Matter of fact, I'm going to get into critical race theory first, and then we're going to play a little bit of a video from PragerU. So, brothers Ali and Josh, y'all have anything to say before we start digging in?
Peace. Well, I'll say this. I'm interested in jumping into the topics. I know we're going to cover a couple of a few different topics tonight. So I'm very interested in getting into it. I haven't heard the PragerU piece, so I'm going to be going off of the top based on what I'm going to hear from the people coming out of PragerU. So I'm just looking forward to hearing what's being said.
Indeed, indeed, brother Josh.
Yeah, peace, family. You know, I remember when we first were talking about, you know, starting our live broadcast last year. And even before that, probably like in 2019, we would always say, man, we need to have something to counter, you know, people like media outlets like PragerU.
That's right.
We've been talking about that because they have been putting out damaging messages, and fortunately, I feel they're not reaching as many of us as they probably could. I could be wrong, but I think with what they're doing, they may not. You know, I think a lot of us may be able to see between the lines and understand what their angle is. But what they do is they position their message so cleverly in opposition to the Democrats and like the liberal talking points that, you know, they do it so cleverly that, you know, some of their ideology will slowly creep up on you, you know, and then you find yourself repeating their talking points, and then, you know, it's just a slow walk, and then you know, that's how our people are being affected. So I feel like most of us that don't really have a nuanced political understanding only think in binary terms. Either I'm Republican or I'm Democrat, because those are the two major parties. Well, you have to understand that there is a different way of looking at it, and that is being for your group first. You know, being a reparations, like he said. You know, we had the T-shirts we were wearing in last year. Progressive with a line through it, conservative with a line through it, liberal with a line through it, and it says reparationist. I am a reparationist. So that's how you have to do politics. That's what we were talking about, the back home strategy. That all of that's included in that, and we're going to get into all of these things. So I just wanted to end it there, and we can come back around.
Indeed, indeed. You know, we we have to stress that we are not Democrats and we're not liberals. We understand the game that is being played, and Josh perfectly laid out what this machine, this right-wing propaganda machine, is doing against the left-wing propaganda machine. See, we are not caught up in the machine. We are the builders of our own machine, the Friedman machine. So we know what it takes, and we are smart enough to take the working parts of the machines that do work. And we understand how to put those pieces together, and that's why this thing is growing and growing and growing. We have a reparations rally in Atlanta, Georgia on June 18th, 11 a.m. at the State Capitol building at Liberty Plaza. Make sure you get there, family. It's the day before Juneteenth. We are going to show up and show out. We're going to show these people that y'all can never, ever fool us again. We will never, ever go back to sleep. And we are not the black folk, quote unquote, that because we are against the left-wing liberal form of white supremacy and their attack on manhood and family, which for us is an attack on black manhood and black family. Oh, no, that we will then run to the Republicans and then start spewing their talking points. Some of you are not as smart as you think. And we're going to put the challenge out in a little while. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to play we're going to play this clip from PragerU, this video about critical race theory and how they're trying to revise history. And then we're going to play like the larger clip. So let me know, did I hit the play audio? Let me know if y'all can hear this or not. But I'm going to play it.
Lie, a blatant lie, and a political tool to say that America is this racist country.
You're exactly right. Our founding fathers did found this country with the intention of ending racism. And the fact that we don't get to learn that in school is really detrimental to people's worldview. And it's just
Lie, a blatant lie, and a political tool to say that America is this racist country.
You're exactly right. Our founding fathers did found this country with the intention of ending racism. And the fact that we don't get to learn that in school is really detrimental to people's worldview.
Okay, so we hear we hear what this disingenuous person is saying, that the founding fathers founded this country with the intention of ending racism. With the intention of ending it. Okay, so this is what I want to do. And I'm going to pull up this article, and then I'm going to let my bros touch on that. Then we're going to play the broader clip from PragerU. Let's pull this article up, because I don't know if this person knows. And this is why we're going to challenge PragerU and everybody that rocks with PragerU, especially the black folk, because we got to clean house first. We definitely got to clean house first. We don't know if they're going to be willing to step up, because, you know, people call Candace Owens' name. They call out Candace Owens, but Candace Owens wouldn't come have a debate with one of us, a descendant of freedmen. She knows better. Candace Owens, that's right. She will only call out somebody like a Cardi B, who she could run circles around, but not one of us who are more politically astute. So let's get into this. This is a article, long reads. Let me put this link in the chat, because I always forget to do that, and I'll be wanting everybody to have the same information that we're following. This is like a little mini book right here. It's Slavery, and that's why it's on the website, longreads.com. Slavery and Freedom in New York City. The story of slavery in New York, the messy path to abolition, and the shameful history which America has yet to come to terms. Because, you know, we only think of slavery being this Southern institution. We forget that slavery was all over the United States of America, that this country was founded on racism because it was founded on slavery. This idea that we can bring people over whom we view as lesser. Now, form of slavery that we come to know doesn't manifest itself until about the 1700s, or after the situation with John Punch, where he's sentenced to a lifetime of servitude, while the two white, I believe they were Irish servants that escaped with him, well, they just had to finish out the terms of their contracts, probably plus some additional years. That set the stage for the slavery that America would come to be known for. But I want to pull up something, because she says something about the founding fathers. Let me see. Let's pull up something. Okay. What was you gonna say, bro?
She said the founding fathers created America with the intent of ending racism, right? and we're gonna make sure that we make a distinction between slavery and racism, right? Because they want to try to play a game. I already see what she's trying to do by saying that. She's trying to equate slavery with racism. Two are not necessarily one and the same. Anybody can be a slave. It's not necessarily a racial thing. It happened to be in this country, but it was not necessarily that, because they were enslaving other people besides people that were imported from Africa. They enslaved Native Americans, and they also enslaved white people very, very early on. So we gotta make a distinction between slavery and racism. They did not create America with the intention of ending racism. Now, maybe there was talks about abolishing slavery, and a lot of them, and this is what Nicole Hannah-Jones got into some hot water about with regard to certain colonists being afraid that Britain intended to end slavery because of the case. What is the name of the case, man? I always forget the name of the case.
The Somerset
case. And so they use that to try to say that America was founded with the intent of ending racism. But the fact of the matter is that's not true. There's nothing to indicate that this country was established with the intent to end racism, not in any of the founding documents. Well, here's the thing. The founding documents, like the Declaration of Independence, is one thing, but they acted completely contrary to the principles in the founding documents. Completely contrary, so much so to the point where this country went to war with itself. So let's knock the BS off.
That's right.
Yeah, and I want to say, it's so funny. I was getting ready to say something about Nicole Hannah-Jones and the 1619 Project. These people are the same people who helped fuel the propaganda that was trying to destroy the 1619 Project. But then they're gonna come out and repudiate and spew their own revisionist history. That doesn't. How can you do that? So if you're gonna say, well, this is not the right history, okay, well then come with the right history then. No, I want to tell you a whitewash, white supremacist version of history, that we revised to say, well, no, we founded this country. The founders founded this country to get rid of racism. Well, let's look at the Constitution. When did they say that they were gonna end? Now I know you were trying to make a distinction between racism and slavery, but one thing that we got to say is there may have been, by the time our nation was formed, there was the only people that was slaves. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only people that were slaves was African. The people that were Africans and they descendants of Africans, right?
That's right.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? There was not like large scale, no Native American slavery, there's no European slavery. It wasn't, by that time, through the colonial period, it was just African slaves, pretty much. And then, so if you're gonna say that they founded the country to get rid of racism, wait a minute, they didn't say that. They said they were founding the country to get freedom from the tyranny of Great Britain. They didn't say they was doing it to get rid of racism. What you talking about? And then the Constitution, they didn't get rid of slavery, the importation of slavery. They sanctioned it until 1807. So I don't. What she's saying makes no sense. I mean, it's easily rebutted.
All right, let's come back to that. Right, let's get into this real quick. There was a British commander by the name of Sir Guy Carlson, and America and Britain had their beef going on in the 1700s, and Britain was actually making offers to free any slaves that would fight with them to overthrow the American colonies, basically overthrow America, right? And there's a situation where a lot of George Washington's slaves, because they talked about the founding fathers founding this country with the intent of eradicating slavery.
Oh crap! I'm glad you brought that up.
So let's read from this article. It says the British had offered liberty to slaves for strategic reasons, not abolitionist sentiments. Okay, they still still was Europeans. So white supremacy is white supremacy. But they understood slavery different. You know, Brother Ali was speaking about the Somerset case, right? So, but let's finish. Quote, practice determined policy, writes the historian Christopher Brown. But he adds, quote, policy over time drifted toward becoming a matter of principle, end quote. When Carlson met with George Washington in May 1783 to implement the peace treaty, the American commander asked about, quote, obtaining the delivery of Negroes and other property, end quote. Washington, in fact, hoped the British would keep a lookout for, quote, some of my own slaves, end quote, who had run off during the war. He expressed surprise when Carlson replied to deprive the slaves of the freedom they had been promised would be a quote unquote dishonorable violation of the public faith. So although those Europeans, the Brits, and they had their form of white supremacy, they, in this time at least, show some honor. When this this dude, George Washington, before he becomes the president of the United States, he's still a commander, a general. He's trying to get this British general to basically hand over his slaves. And the British dude said, man, I promised these people freedom. I'm not going to then turn around and dishonor them. He viewed them as people. He said it would be a dishonorable violation of the public faith. Do you think these founding fathers thought about our people, Amala? What is her name? Amala Ekpuningo? She's of Nigerian descent.
Where's she from?
She's
okay.
that last name is Nigerian. Amala is, from what I know, is similar to Kamala, Indian. So hell, I couldn't find anything on her. It's like she scrubbed the internet of her parents and all of that stuff. Only thing
that's real funny.
She grew up in a liberal household. So, but we'll dig and keep digging and find some more, because I looked at the last minute. So let me see. Now, this Carlson guy, it says, thanks to Carlson, Boston King secured his freedom. So did Henry and Deborah Squash, a married couple who had been the property of George Washington. For years, the British decision to remove American slaves and their refusal to compensate the owners remained a sore point in Anglo-American relations. Quote, Washington, in fact, hoped the British would keep a lookout for some of my own slaves. Well, they're just repeating the quote because they had to place emphasis on it. And they show this image, slave owner shooting a fugitive slave, and the dog is chasing him. The dog, because they still sick dogs on us till this day. They think of Bull Connor in the 60s. There's a video on my Instagram page where this brother is already on the ground in the prone position. The cop comes over there with the canine and just lets the dog go and starts ripping this brother's leg up. And they say that there's no racism in America. So, bros, y'all want to speak to that? I'm going to pull up the other video. The founding fathers and no racism. Go ahead,
let me
brother.
just say something about this. I don't know is the exact number of how many of the founding fathers were themselves slave owners, but they were, right? There was a number of them who were themselves slave owners. Here's something that's very interesting. If we're going to equate slavery with racism, which is what this immigrant chick is trying to do. Here's something that's very interesting that people need to keep in mind. In 1774, there was something called the Articles of Association in Congress in Philadelphia, October 20th, 1774, which was inclusive of representatives from the various colonies of Britain over here in America. Section 2 of the Articles of Association of 1774 says something very, very interesting. Section 2 says, we will neither import nor purchase any slave imported after the first day of December next, which is also 1774, because this was in October, after which time we will wholly discontinue the slave trade and will neither be concerned in it ourselves, nor will we hire our vessels, nor sell our commodities or manufactures to those who are concerned in it. Mind you, this is 1774 that these colonists, these are the same people who are now who became the founding fathers, are promising Great Britain that they are going to disengage in their activity within the slave trade and the importing of people from Africa, as well as the purchasing of people. This is something they were supposed to stop doing in 1774 before there was a United States. That thing didn't actually end legally until 1808 is when in practice it supposedly stopped, when the actual law went into effect. They signed the legislation, I believe, in 1807. Then in 1808 is when it was supposed to the law was supposed to take effect in this country in terms of the slave trade, but they never stopped purchasing slaves. They never stopped purchasing slaves. They said, we will neither import nor purchase. That's what they say. But that purchase never stopped. It didn't stop until 1865. So these people were liars. Miss us with the bull crap. I know that in the New England states, they started to emancipate people early. We already talked about Mom Bet and some of the freedom suits that occurred, in particular, Mom Bet's case that led to the eradication of chattel slavery in her state. We know about that. But the fact of the matter is that slavery continued, particularly in states like New Jersey. It continued. It continued in certain northern states. It continued in the South. Like I said in the beginning, so much so to the point where the country went to war against itself. Don't talk about this place was not racist, especially if slavery is your benchmark of determining what racism is. If that's what you're using to determine, so listen, that didn't end until 1865, and it took a damn war to make it stop. And some people will argue now, those people that are called the 13thers, they'll argue now that slavery never stopped, right? Because the 13th Amendment still allows for it in the form of those people who are incarcerated for crimes they've been convicted of. So on a certain level, it never really stopped. But in terms of chattel slavery, individuals owning people, it did. So the point that I'm really trying to make is that don't say that this country is not founded on racism when you have one thing in the Articles of Association in 1774, and then you lie about abolishing the slave trade, and it doesn't happen until 1808. And then the truth of the matter is they continue doing it up until the 1860s. What is the article we just pulled up where the last slave ship, I forget the name of it.
The Clotilda.
The Clotilda in 1860 something down there in where was it, Louisiana or one of them states down there?
Alabama, I think 1864.
So come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's knock it off. This thing racism is ingrained in the psychology. Forget slavery. Racism, the idea that one race is superior to another so-called race, is ingrained in the psychology of white folks, period. There's nothing in the Constitution that deals with the psychology of white folks. Knock it off.
Indeed, Brother Josh. Did you
Nah, I'm good. Nah, I want us to move on.
All right, so I wanna break down critical race theory first. Let's break that down. Like, I'm gonna pull up this wiki article, and then I want to play the video from. We're gonna play a little couple of minutes from that where we got the clip from that we showed earlier with the. Oh goodness, these people are they're crazy. I just think they're crazy. I think many of these people on the left are crazy. We are situated in the middle of two extremes, family. And we have to be so careful. We have to be careful that we are never leaning towards one or the other. Like I said, they are two machines. And in building our own machine, because we've been citizens from day one in this country. And the Declaration of Independence states clearly that when any form of government becomes destructive of its own means, it is the right of the citizens to alter or abolish that government. I paraphrase.
That's right.
Alter or abolish. Only thing we got to do is uphold the Constitution. Brother Ali just broke that down. Nothing in the Constitution deals with the psychology of white supremacy, of white folk, other than, well, we may find like the what is that? The fugitive slave provisions.
Fugitive slave clause.
Yeah,
Clause.
yeah.
But what about it? The fugitive slave clause is designed to return people who escape from
that's right,
from bondage back to the slave states or the slave owners.
And what year did slavery end?
1865.
Okay, you're right.
That wasn't nothing that helped us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right. So let me see. All right.
As a matter of fact, the fugitive slave clause can be used as evidence of the racist ideas of the North, who made these kinds of capitulations in order to try to keep the Union intact.
That's right.
These people in the North allowed for a fugitive slave clause to be put into the Constitution for fear that if they didn't, the Union would collapse.
That's right.
That's racist. To me, that's racist. You were more concerned about the feelings of your white brothers in the South than you were about what you said in the Declaration of Independence about liberty for all men.
Which still goes on until this day. They're still doing that. They're still, the Democrats get in office and capitulate. Biden just capitulated. They have on something, I can't remember, they got Clyburn capitulating on qualified immunity. We don't need that if it's going to kill the whole thing. Kill the whole thing then. It's like that movie with Jamie Foxx, what, a law-abiding citizen. And dude said, but I could have lived with if they walked. So long as you did your job. You capitulated. And the people that killed my family basically got off. The main guy got off. That's what's going on with these law-abiding citizens, because we never tried to overthrow this country. Never.
That's a fact.
So let's read. I'm not going to obviously read all of this, but I want to give a breakdown briefly of critical race theory. This is from Wikipedia. Critical race theory is an academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the United States who seek to critically examine the law as it intersects with issues of race and to challenge mainstream liberal approaches to racial justice. Critical race theory examines social, cultural, and legal issues as they relate to race and racism. What is the right wing talking about? See, the right wing is countering the left wing, who has to politicize this issue to keep the black folk in line, and then find a way to take CRT and then somehow make it about LGBT, because that's just what the liberal left does.
And people of color.
And people of color. That's a fact. It says critical race theory originated in the mid-1970s in the writings of several American legal scholars, including Derek Bell. They name a whole bunch of people, but Derek Bell is key. It emerged as a movement by the 1980s, reworking theories of critical legal studies with more focus on race. Both critical race theory and critical legal studies are rooted in critical theory, which argues that social problems are influenced and created more by societal structures and cultural assumptions than by individual and psychological factors. Go back to the Dred Scott case. What was the argument of Chief Justice Taney, who reworded his opinion after Justice Curtis' dissent, destroyed his argument? It was based on what people thought, that the Negro would have no rights, or at least Dred Scott, which represented all Negroes, would have no rights that the white man was bound to respect. There, Justice Taney acted on behalf of all white folk, when white folk was split down the middle on the slavery issue for the most part, at least 60-40, right? Well, I don't want to say split down the middle, but possibly 70-30.
They were not all in agreement about
They were not all in agreement. That's just a fact. So this is what critical race theory was designed to do. We got to know that the Neo-Confederates, who are the Republicans, are attacking critical race theory for one purpose only. They want to maintain white supremacy as an educational tool to produce superiority and inferiority. To maintain superiority among those who see themselves as white and inferiority upon those who see themselves as black. So it says critical race theory is loosely unified by two common themes. Hit the likes up, fam. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button.
And share. Share.
Class is in session. Friedman University is in session. Critical race theory is loosely unified by two common themes. First, that white supremacy, societal racism exists and maintains power through the law. There isn't a majority of black folk in this country that would disagree with that statement. That critical race theory, loosely unified by two common themes. The things that white supremacy, societal racism exists and maintains power through the law. And second, that transforming the relationship between law and racial power, and also achieving racial emancipation and anti-subordination more broadly, are possible. The problem is that it's possible. It's merely a possibility. It isn't a reality, because the liberals don't care. We've read on this platform about how the Democrats are saying, stop talking about this reparation stuff. It's going to hurt us in 2022. No, we're going to hurt you in 2022. Don't vote not only blue in 2022. Go ahead, brother.
Not only is it just possible, the fact of the matter is changing the relationship between law and racial power all depends upon the ability to enforce any law that's designed to deal with the to eradicate the subordination of black people in this country. You have to be able to enforce it. So you already have certain laws in place, right, that were designed to address certain problems. The voting rights. Let's just use the Voting Rights Act for example, right? It was designed to deal with a specific problem that arose based on the fact that the 15th Amendment supposedly afforded the rights to all people. It didn't, but allegedly to all citizens, the right to vote. The Voting Rights Act was supposed to be a law to help the federal government deal with the states who were still trying to abrogate the people's rights through various techniques or how would you say schemes that they were using within the states, whether that was being able to read. Like I said, my grandmother told me that they they were telling black people who were coming in to vote to count the grains of sand in an hourglass. If they couldn't count the grains of sand in the hourglass, then they couldn't vote. And there were a plethora of schemes that they were using in those southern states to block people from accessing the right that's spoken about in the 15th Amendment. So the whole thing does come down to where, even if you're talking about enacting laws, it's the ability to enforce those laws that really count. Because you can put all kinds of things on a book, but if you can't enforce it, it's meaningless. So again, to the point of things being possible, it's possible based on the fact that you have to remove certain race soldiers out of positions of power so that you can get people who are of the right thinking minds in those positions that are willing to do the types of jobs that it's going to take to ensure that the enforcement is there of any law that's enacted on behalf of Black people. Otherwise, none of it means anything.
Facts. Let me read this part. I'm not going to read any more from it. Critics of critical race theory argue that it relies on social constructionism, elevates storytelling over evidence and reason, rejects the concepts of truth and merit, and opposes liberalism. Now, this is everything that the right does. This is what PragerU does. They are the ones right now engaged in social constructionism or reconstructionism through revisionist history. That they are the ones that are spreading this lie that the Democrats of yesterday, who were the right wing of American politics, are the same Democrats of today, who are the left wing of American politics. This is what they do. Elevate storytelling over evidence and reason. PragerU has a whole YouTube channel full of little cartoons and little anecdotal stories. That's all they do. These people are a pariah. They are a pariah. And this is why I said, family, we have a real unique battle on our hands, man. We have a really, really, really hard and unique battle on our hands because we're fighting against white supremacy between the Democrats and the Republicans, the conservatives and the liberals, the progressives trying to pretend like they are not racist. But when you start talking progressive policies that go to help our folk, you see, like an AOC, start backpedaling and tripping over themselves and starting whataboutism. Well, what about the Latinos? And reparations should go to the families whose children were ripped out of their arms at the borders. So you're against reparations for us if it doesn't include Latinos, but you're for reparations for Latinos who they're not even citizens of the United States. They might have to take their claim to the Hague, to the World Court, something like that. I'm just saying, we're citizens. So it goes to show what these people think about us. So our fight is unique. Then on top of that, we got our own people, right? When descendants of freedmen, people that come from our line who have been elevated in right-wing spaces because there's money to be made by pushing right-wing propagandism. But we gotta be fair and honest, which is why Mr. Just the Facts speaks on this platform of Be the Power. What a lot of these Black folks are pushing back against is the LGBT agenda of the liberal left. People are going to do what they do. The issue becomes when you try to put it in the schools, put it in all of the TV commercials. I was watching Hulu one night and almost every other commercial was about homosexuality. They got CIA recruitment videos. They have army recruitment videos, cartoons. People are going to do what they're going to do. Whether you agree with it or not is not the issue. When it feels like it's being forced down your throat, when little kids are being taken to strip clubs because the strippers are trans men? That's sickening. And then you want these same trans men, after they just stripped for little kids in the strip club, to come into the schools and teach your children about the history of transism. While you got the Republicans, on the other hand, trying to get these people to stop teaching our history, to keep their history sanitized. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Then you got the immigrant black, the blacks of immigrant descent, who latch on to the white ideology that looks down upon, I don't even know if I can call them their African American counterparts, if we're going to even use that term. Their quote unquote black counterparts. Those of us who are descendants of freedmen. All of the liberal stuff that's being forced on people is pushing a lot of our people to the Republicans. The Republicans are turning into some foxes in that sense, because they're like, wait a minute, we got some black folk that's starting to come over here. I think we got to tone it down just a little bit, but then we'll indoctrinate them with a PragerU and get them to go out there and start spewing our talking points bit by bit by bit. Sister Dawn said we aren't even their counterparts. That's why I had to think on that for a second, sis. I had to think on that one. Then you have the immigrant black, who already comes over here looking down upon the descendants of freedmen. Those of us who were day one citizens, Americans. We are Americans, period. We don't need to hyphenate it. We do because we understand that America is a racist country. And how can we prove this? Well, they have a directive, a federal directive, number 15, that breaks down racial classifications. And to understand how those racial classifications work, I hold up this book. You always see me hold it up. White by Law. White by Law. It is giving you the breakdown of how whiteness establishes itself legally in the United States of America's law system, which birthed critical race theory in the first place, and which is one of the reasons I still honor Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who was in the 1920s challenging this idea that humans were black and white in the 1920s, fam. So, I mean, bros, y'all have anything to say to that before we play this next video clip? And
yeah, I wanted to I'm gonna pull up something I wanted to share too, but I wanted to say, man, just like the people, it's so funny how people try to make the claim. PragerU always tries to make the claim, well, this is not a racist country, and they'll try to appeal to the anti-white guilt sentiment, or I should say movement that's going on. It's like a backlash from what we saw from 2020. And it's similar to the backlash that was like the backlash after the civil rights movement, like after the civil rights movement, it was like, man, get that. We doing all this for these Negroes. They gonna get ahead. They may not be at the bottom. After they didn't kill Martin Luther King and they did all that, and they burnt stuff, like, it was a period of after the Civil Rights Act got passed, I'm trying to say, and a lot of those legislations got passed that, that took the political energy and shifted it towards like, okay, we doing something serious about in America. There was a white backlash, and I feel like there's a similar anti-white guilt backlash, even though we ain't getting no policy. Like, yeah, a couple of cops got one of the cops got convicted. But what policy do? They acting like we got reparations or we didn't close the racial wealth gap or something. Yeah, you're giving all this backlash just to Joe Biden wins the presidency, a person that has not done anything for us, a person that we really weren't trying to elect, but you gave us no other option but Trump. So And I'm saying that because what they'll say is America's not a racist country, and they brought up, well, you know, they founded it to combat racism, yeah, or to end racism, yeah, okay, we already broke that down. And they'll take proof of it and say, well, we fought a civil war, okay, well, we fought it until we died too, okay, well, you know, we did the Civil Rights Act, okay, well, I mean, look at the wealth position of the freedmen today. It's a similar wealth position, or it's even worse as far as a wealth gap when you look at it then 1968 after the Civil Rights Act. Look at the housing number. Look at the housing data. All of that stuff is terrible. And, you know, so we talk about you into slavery. We go back to that. Yeah, but then you got the prison industrial complex where you use the 13th Amendment loophole to basically have us as slave labor in prisons, you know? So it's always a workaround. Let's talk about, we don't do redlining anymore. Okay, but look at how segregated housing is. And that's what I wanted to, I want to show you like a way that they kind of got around redlining. I'm going to share this real quick. Let me share this real quick.
Well, while you're pulling that up, let me just pull this up real quick while you're looking for that.
I got it.
All right, just let me pull this up because you spoke the redlining. I ain't going to stay on it 20 seconds. How PPP loan distribution became the new redlining. You can't tell us that America is not racist. The subheader reads, an investigation finds rampant racial disparities in pandemic aid distribution. Stop playing with us. We, PragerU, and everybody, Amala Ekpunobi, and I tagged all of them on Twitter. We on y'all's heads now. And Josh, you right. Josh been called for a counter to PragerU, and we're providing that. Anybody that is into writing grants, no grant writer. Remember, we have the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, which was established to counter the United Daughters of the Confederacy. And what is the other one? The United Sons of the Confederacy.
Sons of Confederate, all of them. All
Sons
of them.
of the Confederate.
That propaganda, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick, Josh. Anybody that knows about grants, resources, we want to start a whole new YouTube channel called Freedmen U, where we put out little clips and we put out real, actual history, American history, as it pertains and relates to us and our freedom fighting and struggles, and as counters to the propagandist machine that is Turning Point USA and PragerU. See, we are not the liberal left. We different. We a whole different animal. So now you have to contend with something that you really don't know how to fight. Go ahead, brother.
You don't know how to fight. Yeah, because we not coming from, we not buying, we're that's a funny term. We're non-binary, you know?
That is a funny term.
All right. So this is funny. This is talking about, see, what they say is, well, we don't have redlining anymore. Yeah, but you got single family zoning, you know, and y'all don't want to come off that. So what single family zoning is a way for you to, protect white suburbia, where you have a sect of houses that only the sect or neighborhoods where single family houses are only allowed, or parts of town where single family houses are only allowed. So you can't build like affordable housing units, or apartments, duplexes, and these type of things, places where, dwellings where most of us may end up live, despite crowded cities and, the need for affordable housing. So this is an article, this is from the Charlotte Observer. I'm just going to read through it a little bit. I skipped down. It says many Charlotte residents are already having trouble affording housing. Jayoba, data shows home prices in the region grew 62% from 2000 to 2017. Rents rose 74%. Median household income rose only 30%. Almost half of the local renters pay more than a third of their income on housing. And though I don't think we can build our way out of this problem without also looking at other factors, lagging incomes, loss of older, affordable buildings, we can't ignore housing supply. The idea is sure to be politically tricky. Some 60% of Charlotte's land is zoned, 60% of Charlotte's land is zoned for single family housing, and many voters will protest. They'll cite traffic, yet since traffic comes with population growth, the only real questions are whose area gets it, how to better manage it, and how to encourage less driving. Pushing further out to counties with no mass transit simply funnels more vehicles onto I-77, Providence Road, and other rush hour nightmares. They'll cite lower property values, but evidence from sought after older neighborhoods like Dilworth, Wesley Heights, and Myers Park, sprinkled with duplexes and small apartments, disproves that. They'll cite quote unquote neighborhood character because no one likes change, and quote unquote density conjures images of is not entirely clear what. But as you ponder neighborhood character, it's worth noting that single family zoning arose a century ago in a clearly racist context. In The Color of Law, we read this book, you know, we talk about this book all the time. It's a powerful book. Everybody should get it. The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein tells how early zoning ordinances specifically banned blacks from certain zones. The Supreme Court outlawed that in 1917, but in many cities, Rothstein writes, to prevent lower income African Americans from living in neighborhoods where middle class whites resided, local and federal officials began to promote zoning ordinances to reserve middle class neighborhoods for single family homes that lower income families of all races could not afford. Meanwhile, federal rules and redlining kept black families from getting mortgages, and housing developers couldn't get financing without whites only covenants and deeds. So, you know, we talk about, even though they may have ended the redlining, this is an article from 2019 where it says 60% of Charlotte's land is still zoned for single family zoning only. So, you know, do you think that that's, I'm gonna end the share here, but do you think that that is coincidental? Are you trying to say that that's not racist? You don't understand that it just morphed and evolved these forms into what was it? I think it was Reagan or I think it was Reagan's campaign manager. There was a recording that says, look, it's changed. You can't say, was it Nixon? They say you can't say nigger.
Yep, I was thinking about that earlier. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they didn't only do that in politics and in political rhetoric. They did that in the names of and the marketing of all of these policies. You think that they just folded, the racists and white supremacists just fold up the tent? No, they just have to craft it cleverly in a way, the same way that PragerU was crafting language in their political strategy cleverly to try to backdoor you into supporting your own continue or even increase oppression.
Lee Atwater. That's
there
who
you go.
OG Otis came through. All right, let's play this clip. We can get to the second leg of this discussion. I'm Ali, you know, I don't want to bring the article up now. And I was thinking we might can do that tomorrow night, man, and talk about reparations and how it can be successful. So I don't know. Let's just see how the night goes, but I think that might be good for its own discussion. So, you know, just we let this conversation evolve. And if you feel like talk about it, just put it in a private chat and we'll see. Because I kind of want to give that some like real attention because I didn't today. I wanted to strictly focus on this. I mean, I started doing so much research. Like I said, I pulled back because I want to put the challenge to these people out there, you know, like come debate with us because we're not liberals. We're not Democrats. You're about to fight somebody with the completely style that is unorthodox to anything that you've ever seen, period. So let's play this video. Oh man, I deleted the video. I did delete it. I mean, closed out, not deleted, closed out the what's the name. So I want to, yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
I want to play this. I got to play this video. We're going to play this first couple of minutes. I want you all to listen to this craziness, fam, because this is absolutely crazy. So this is the let me go back. Amala Ekpunobi, this female.
The Nigerian.
She's Nigerian. She's mixed with something else too, because I've seen that. But there's like no wiki article. I couldn't really find anything on her. I think she probably had her information scrubbed because she goes around posing as a black woman, but she looks like a European to me. I mean, she doesn't even look like a this just sounds so funny saying a light-skinned black person. Because like, how can you be a How can you be a light-skinned black person? Like, we gotta start breaking these racial classifications down, and this stuff is bogus. And it's what, like I said, the racial classification system works as a flotation device for one group that claims that it's superior, and an anchor for the other group that it sees as inferior. So let me
I just want to say, ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy that these people want to trash the critical race theory, meanwhile want to hold on to the racial classification system? That don't make sense. You want to call yourself white and black, but then you say, well, don't do critical race theory, even though we know that there's racial classifications where white is at the top and black is at the bottom. Like,
that's right.
How does that doesn't jive? So go ahead.
That's right. All right, let's play this. We're gonna play a few minutes of this, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna pull up some stuff. So let's share it. Let's play this.
One.
Hello, it's Omala Epinobi here with PragerU. Will wanted me to do a sort of Midwestern accent today, which I don't know how to do. So that was my attempt.
Darn tootin', that was not a good accent, Omala.
No, it wasn't.
No. Where'd you learn how to talk like that, eh?
I learned 5 seconds before we started this live.
Okay, A is Canadian, and you guys just butchered both of those. As
I
someone
didn't say
who's
I
born
was
in
American.
Minnesota,
I didn't
I'm
say I was
embarrassed.
American. I just said I was up from the north.
People
I'm more
hate these accents, by the way. They're like, please stop doing the accent intros.
Listen, just because people say they hate it, just some people comment and say that they hate it, but most people, they don't comment because they love it.
Exactly.
They're too happy watching to even comment.
Yeah, they're so caught up in such the greatness of what we're doing that they don't even feel the need to comment.
Darn tootin'.
Also, no one says that. I've never heard anyone say that besides you.
Haven't you seen Fargo?
Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on. Today we have 3 stories for you. And one of them, the one that we're going to start off with today, is actually very triumphant. And I'm very proud of the video that we're going to show you today. For those of you who are unaware, there is something by the name of critical race theory, or CRT, as you'll hear it said in many of these political spaces, that is sort of infiltrating our public schooling systems and many of our institutions. And at its foundation, critical race theory states that America as a nation was founded on white supremacy and racism and bigotry. And critical race theory at its heart is trying to teach people to really view themselves by their race. We view white people as oppressors in critical race theory, and we view people of color as the oppressed. And that is sort of the lens of which people are being taught this theory. So it is infiltrating our public schooling systems, especially at the lower level.
But I gotta jump in right there. She must not be aware of Federal Directive 15.
Is she a Canadian or is she an American?
She's an American born. She's American born in Florida, but she's half Nigerian and half white. Somebody put that in the chat. So
we don't know if that is. We don't even know if that's American. You know, I don't know.
That's
if
Barack.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's Barack. She's a Barack Obama. That's what she is. Another.
No, I'm saying like her.
Detrimental.
When we say white, what are we talking about? We talking about
European,
English, Germans? Yeah,
right. That's
South
right.
African. What are we talking?
That's right. That's right. And we got to start looking at it through that lens. That's right. So but what she said there was that critical race theory forces us to look at each other's skin, not the fact that there's a racial classification system that has white and black. No, not at
And
all.
mind you, just a note, the racial classification system became colorized at a certain point because initially it was other names being used besides black and white and red and brown and yellow. They were using Ethiopian, they were using European, they were using Asian. These are the earlier names that they were using before they started using the colorized racial classification
Or
system. I just want to
Oriental.
say that. So yes, so the Europeans are the ones who came up with the colors. As much as we love all of these colors, I know we love these colors, but the Europeans are the ones who came up with the colors. Go ahead. I'm not going to harp on that. Keep going.
All right.
Where, you know, parents are sending their kids to these schools and we're being told things about affinity groups based on your race or promoting equity. I don't know why I can't say that. I just had a mini stroke saying the word equity rather than equality in our school systems. And it's a really harmful thing to teach children who otherwise would not be concerned at all about somebody's race. But it is getting, you know, infiltrated into our schooling systems. Teachers are talking about it. School boards are talking about it. But parents are waking up to this infiltration into our education systems. Now, I want to show you a video of a parent going to a school board meeting out in, I believe it's pronounced Loudoun County, who is speaking out against the influence of critical race theory in her child's education. So we'll pull this up for you.
She says that it's being infiltrated into the system. When the fact of the matter is you have race on birth certificates, you have race, and they put it there. Now, we black people didn't put that shit there, right? They put it there. Race, you got to list your race on job applications. They want you to list your race on, you know, when you go into school, like all of these things. When the police profiling people, they're talking about a black male. Suspect is black male. You know, African American, 5 feet this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is their thing. They made it up and then try to use it against us. Like, we're the ones bugging the hell out because we're acknowledging the fact that they made that shit up and use it against us. Go ahead.
Made up nigga too. You know.
Yo,
All
that
of
is just, I mean, you know, let me just say before I finish this video, when we're breaking down like a lot of the bogus Pan-Africanist arguments and a lot of the bogus arguments from the pretendians, aka the fake Indians, we laugh because we see the hilarity in their arguments. And that's why I was just laughing when Brother Ali was breaking this down, because it is a part of white supremacy to revise history and then make everybody else seem like they're crazy for pointing out the fact that this revision is taking place. This we gonna get into this. So she's about to play a video clip. I'm just pulling up a whole bunch of stuff that I got, and I'm not gonna read all of this stuff. But what I am going to do is I'm going to highlight these headlines, and I'll give a synopsis of what these articles are about. So let's let this play out.
Yeah.
Darn tootin'.
Oh, no.
In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now I have a dream that we will implement love, not hate, or supporting another Jim Crow's agenda. CRT is not an honest dialogue. It is a tactic that was used by Hitler and the Ku Klux Klan on slavery very many years ago to dumb down my ancestors so we could not think for ourselves. CRT is racist. It is abusive. It discriminates against one's color. Let me educate you. An honest dialogue does not oppress. An honest dialogue does not implement hatred or injustice. It's to communicate without deceiving people. Today, we don't need your agreement. We want action and a backbone for what we asked for today, to ban CRT. We don't want your political advertisement to divide our children or belittle them. Think twice before you indoctrinate such racist theories. You cannot tell me what is or is not racist. Look at me. I had to come down.
So remember, if you're black and you speak for conservative issues like she's doing, she just sounds so foolish.
And we're not gonna call. We're not gonna.
Yeah,
we're not gonna use certain language.
Yeah, we gonna chill. Okay, cool.
We could use some words. Y'all in the chat probably knows what words we probably would use in this situation.
Okay, but so that's what they do. They say we're not racist. We have a woman like this speaking out against CRT. We have Amala Ekpanobi. We have Candace Owens. We have Larry Elder. Oh, goodness, man.
Burgess Owens. Herschel Walker.
Goodness.
Talking about them atrocities.
Atrocities.
I'm here today to tell you to your face that we are coming together and we are strong. This will not be the last. Greet and meet respectfully.
Wow, if there was a mic, she could have dropped it.
Right.
They love that.
She went hard.
She did. That was fantastic.
I need to find out who that lady is, man.
So passionate about.
My bad. I need to find out because Loudoun County, that's like the next county over for me. It's right down the road. 45 minutes to 45 minutes. So yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
We need,
and she's one of the few. She's like, it's not too many of us over there, and I don't know if she's a Freedman. And it's funny because I guess she just figures like she's the only one in the room looking like her that's speaking on the issue, or maybe one of few. So she gets to be very loud and boisterous about it, reading from the script. And I want to say, PragerU, y'all got to understand, they're trying to build up like a groundswell. Go look at their videos. They can drop a video a couple days and that thing might have 1 million views. That thing might have 200, 500,000, 1 million of one point. I think I've seen one that was like 1.5 or something like that. And
that's why we got to get to our people. That's why we
and what they're doing is they are like recruiting people into their organization, like to be a part of their team. And then they're featuring them like this. I bet you this lady right here is registered, like a registered member or a contributor or whatever. And she's getting, that's why she got some type of airtime on there. They gave her the script on what to say. She read it. And all of this is like kind of like grassroots. They're trying to do like some kind of grassroots local pushback against the fight to end, I ain't gonna say to end racism, but the fight to like curb back some of the racism, the efforts that are being made to help, and they take these individuals. I'm not gonna call them no names. Y'all in the chat, y'all can put some names, but they take these individuals and make them, like you said, Naheem, the face of this thing, and they put them. So they don't need to just do it on the national level. They want to do it on the county level and the city level. They want to, in all of these cities, they got it grassroots. This. Y'all don't understand. That's why
we got to get Freedman U popping. Let's play this out though, Josh, and try to get through this and then give some more context and commentary.
Out how their kids are being influenced, that they actually go to the source of the problem, which are these school boards, and say something.
Yeah, no, if you want to get something done, you have to go and say something. Like people think that like they can just go on Facebook and complain about it and say, oh, all this critical race theory stuff, it really sucks. And then their kids learn it and they're like on Facebook again as a Karen. And they're like, yeah, this really, it's like, that doesn't do anything. Like these people actually going and talking.
Did he say on Facebook again, like a Karen?
Yeah.
See, that's what they do. They reverse everything. You point out their racism, they call you a racist. You complain about their racism, they call you a Karen. These people,
devils. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it clean tonight because we want to see if these people are bold enough to see. Like we're not the Roland Martin crowd. And we're gonna give Roland Martin some work too, family. We got Roland Martin coming up on deck because he keeps calling for it. He keeps being condescending and calling those of us who promote the things and the ideology that we promote dumbasses. We got some smoke for Roland too.
about it to the school board and letting them know a piece of their mind is how you get things done. You have to be willing to put yourself out there to make a change.
Yeah, you do. And for a little bit of background as to what's happening out in this county. So the school board, specifically 6 members of this school board, were participating in a Facebook group, which made their goal to dox parents who were against CRT, calling them racist, calling them white supremacists. So they were a part of this Facebook group, these school board members who are sharing the parents' names and what school they go to and what district, and their support of ending critical race theory within their schools. So you're essentially doxing parents within your own school district.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, when I was going through high school, at least, I mean, and I'm sure most people here who didn't have CRT before it was cool. I mean, we learned about Black people. We learned about everything in American history. It's not like kids went through school not knowing what slavery was, or not knowing what Jim Crow laws were, or that America did some bad stuff. It's not like we didn't know this. Of course we knew this. It's like this is not about teaching history in a way that's conducive to helping people or making the world a better place. It's about pushing a political agenda. Yep. America is not the racist place that people want to say it is. And this whole 1619 project and the critical race theory, I mean, it's trying to paint America as this horrible racist country. But the things that they won't tell you about America, like in the founding fathers, just specifically, I mean, like Benjamin Franklin started one of the first anti-slavery societies in America. I mean, John Adams was totally against slaves. George Washington said there was no one else who wanted to abolish slaves more than him. Thomas Jefferson had a Black woman who he impregnated and then had children with her.
My God.
Made them free and taught slavery.
Hey, man. Just for a second. So critical race theory and examining how the laws and policies of this country, not only the actions of certain individuals, but the laws and policies, how that affects Black people in this country from its origin up until this point. He's going to talk about some dude impregnating a Black chick. This is the kind of
that he enslaved. That was one of his slaves.
I got tears in my eyes. This dude, like, it shows you the level of deception. What is this guy's name? I want to.
And what does he talk about? He just said he was Canadian.
He's Canadian?
That's what he
said.
Yeah,
he said he's Canadian.
Oh, come on. So we got some old Jordan Peterson wannabe up in here? Like, this is ridiculous.
A lot of these people are not invested in what happened to us. You got to understand something. When we talk about immigrants, we have to make sure that we are expanded in that particular concept to include white people. Many of these people that we're calling white people are not foundational white Americans. They're not, meaning they're not the people who descend from the colonizers that came here during the time of the British colonies. A lot of these people are immigrants. Many people we call them white people today are actually of immigrant descent, Ellis Islanders and so forth.
That's right.
People that came here way after slavery was already abolished. And so they're not invested in it the same way. They don't know the history. They really don't care to know the history.
That's
they
right.
latch onto all of this bull crap that these the United Daughters of the Confederacy put out. And it's very interesting that nobody had any pushback for them the way they have for the sister with the 1619 project. For years, the United Daughters of the Confederacy have infiltrated, as she said, infiltrated the school system and the textbooks and everything of our children. Our children were the ones forced to go to schools named after Confederates. See, these people don't know none of this kind of stuff and they don't care about it. And they're not invested in it because that's not a part of their ancestry. All these people we call them white and call them colonizers did not come from the institution of slavery. A lot of these people are Johnny-come-latelys, and we're giving them a lot more credit than they deserve, way more.
I'm not even going to play.
They want to sit on the glory of conquest and all that. They ain't conquered. They ain't conquered nothing.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. They want to tie themselves back into the glory of conquest and whiteness, which is racism in and of itself. So I want you all to think about what my brothers and I have already said about these people are trying to keep. Let me let me pull this image up. Let me pull this image up. It's from the Washington Post earlier. Oh, these people are crazy, man. These people are crazy. Check this out. Peace, Sister Riri. I see you in the chat. Check this out. All right, why does this do this sometimes? Hold on. I don't know why it does that every so often. It just starts flashing like that. Okay. I think I have to do it from not directly like that. Let's see if I can do it like this. There we go. Governor Ron DeSantis. Let's see if I can blow this up. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. All right. Well, I guess y'all can see it. The headline reads, Florida governor signs bill barring social media companies from blocking politicians. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill Monday that aims to punish social media companies for their moderation decisions, a move that was immediately criticized by Silicon Valley and likely sets the stage for potential legal challenges. These people want to say racist stuff. Somebody posted in the chat something that I had seen from PragerU, I think it was maybe last year, 2 years ago, about having the right to say the N-word. They want to be racist and they don't want to be censored for it. This is setting up something for the future. What DeSantis did, because he might make a run in 2024, is trying to set up something for Republicans in the future. That's why we have to take control over our politics and use our ballot as leverage to get the things that we want, or else we will forever be under a racist white supremacy and under those who practice proxy racist white supremacy and the immigrant class that come over here and look down on us as well. So I want to bring up this article, and I'm not going to read through most of this stuff. I'm just going to share these screens, and y'all jump in as y'all need to. Condoleezza Rice. This was in 2017. I remember this story clearly as I was putting my notes together for today's stream. So let me first put this link in the chat. Let's share these links out. I want people to start absorbing this stuff for themselves. Condoleezza Rice argues tearing down slave owners' statues is sanitizing history. Now, Condoleezza Rice is one of us, right? She's one of us. She's one of those people I talked about earlier. It says the former Bush. Well, let me start from here. Scrubbing Confederate history from the country's fabric would be a monumental mistake, Condoleezza Rice said Monday. The former Bush-era Secretary of State, now plugging her new book, Democracy, argued on Fox and Friends, of course, that tearing down statues honoring slave owners was merely sanitizing U.S. history. She says when you start wiping out your history, sanitizing your history to make you feel better, it's a bad thing. See, this person, I'm trying to find some good ways to say this. This person right here, Condoleezza Rice, is a white supremacist. Like, we gotta if you practice the ideology, if you push the ideology of white supremacy, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, because white people are fictitious. There's no such thing as white people, because no one has white skin like no one has black skin. First and foremost, white is an ideology, period. An ideology crafted into an image of superiority. And if you're pushing the narrative of white supremacy, then you are pushing their ideology of superiority, which makes you a white supremacist. So what critical race, the proponents against critical race theory are trying to do is they're trying to say that we want to remove slavery We want to remove slavery from the textbooks. We want to remove it. This is what they're trying to do. Let me see. Yeah, go ahead.
It's about white comfortability, right? This is what they're trying to protect. White comfortability. They want to be comfortable, and they're tired of hearing about what happened to Black Americans. They're tired of hearing about it because it makes them uncomfortable. But that's not what this is about for us. Our telling of our stories is not about appeasing white people and them being comfortable, asking them if they're okay and worrying about whether or not they're okay. Now, I don't care about that because they don't care about justice for us. For me, it's an issue of justice. As long as you're willing to continue to deny my tribal people who went through specific issues in this country, if you're willing to continue to deny justice for my tribe, I feel like as long as that's the case, everything that happened to us needs to consistently be pushed in those people's and everybody else's faces. Everybody needs to know and needs to consistently have our story pushed in their face, because what they're trying to do, like you said, is take this part of our American story away, because this is an American story. This is not some made up thing. This is not a figment of Black people's imagination. All of this stuff happened and it continues to happen. I just put the link in the inbox on the Facebook inbox for you to pull up.
I got some things I wanted to pull up. I got you, but I just want to share some of the info that I have, because I want to paint the picture for these PragerU types. This is Dominique Wilkins. They looked me up and down. Dominique Wilkins claims he was turned away from Atlanta restaurant because the color of his skin. Restaurant apologized. See, when they realize who you are, they take the racism down a little bit. Remember, Dave Chappelle told the story about the cop that killed was it Tamir Rice or the other brother in Ohio at the Walmart, I think it was.
I'm not sure, but I know the story.
Yeah, he said that same cop pulled him over and then realized it was Dave Chappelle. And he kind of toned down the way he came at him. Kind of toned down. So Dominique, am I next? Are you next? Are we next? This is the shirt that he's wearing. I don't know the brother's politics, and you already know sometimes our celebrities and entertainers, their politics is so aligned with the liberal left that it kind of outshines, if you will, if I can use that term, the real issues, because it starts including everybody else. And then the next thing you know, we're at the back burner and Asian Americans are getting bills passed after them. Right now in New York City, Asian Americans are being taught self-defense. They have self-defense classes by the New York Police Department. They're teaching us how to keep our hands up and assume the prone position when they pull up. That's what's going on. Let me put this link in the chat. We're gonna run through this stuff, fam. Let y'all jump in, but we're gonna run through these articles. We ain't playing with these people. We not gonna let this is what they want to do. They want to be able to teach slavery in a way that they want to teach it. School apologizes for teaching fourth graders that slaves freely chose to come to America. This was just the other day. This was published April 22nd, 2021. Remember the joint in Texas, they banned the use of the term slavery. They had textbooks edited to remove terms like slavery, to add terms like immigrants and workers. The workers came from Africa. What? What? Nah. So critical race theory, and that's why we are so important in this conversation, because we can keep critical race theory, because it's not a theory, it's just a fact, from going too far left and being destroyed by the right. That makes us the most important pieces of this whole puzzle, family. Because like I said earlier, we're not conservative Republicans or liberal Democrats. We're not Republicans or Democrats at all. At all. We are none of those parties at all. So let me put that one in the chat. Start sharing this information. Now, we are not playing with these people today. They're going to know. And they got to know that, well, y'all going to get called out to a debate. Y'all are going to get called out to a debate. Remember that cop that made the video? He was a deputy, I think deputy sheriff. He made a video talk about racism. Deputy who died by suicide left haunting videos on racist policing division. I've had enough. Before, Deputy Clyde Kerr III took his own life Monday outside the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's office. He left haunting final words in a series of social media videos. 43 years old this man was. Lafayette Parish, that's in Louisiana. That's where that brother, what's his name, Ali, Ronald Green? In Louisiana?
Yes.
Ronald Green is his name, right?
Yep.
Racist Louisiana State Police brutalized this man while he pleaded with them, saying, I'm your brother. I'm your brother. Oh, no, that didn't. These people, remember that woman and that Canadian guy, that Nigerian descended person, because somebody said both of her parents was Nigerian in the chat. So, you know.
Well, Nigerian is a nationality that a white person can assume. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. USA Today, CDC declares racism a serious public health threat as COVID-19 puts a spotlight on disparities. They trick so many of our people to speak against the vaccine, to call it a plandemic, while we were disproportionately dying. I just seen all last year, I was seeing on my timeline, rest in peace. Resting, because I'm from New York and I live down in Georgia. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And you got these people that look like us that's running around because the Republicans politicized this virus that was killing people, that I also contracted and battled with. It was no joke. It wasn't no flu. Had the flu a lot of times in my life. Wasn't no flu at all. Had them out there lying to people. Who knows how many of these people died listening to some of these guys, our own people, following these right-wing, Herman Cain, that's right, died from COVID.
Listening to them jokers.
I know some brothers that was spewing some of the same, stuff they were saying that ended up getting the COVID.
That's right. That's right. A preacher, it was pastors, white evangelical Christians, aka the core religious group in the United States, racist religious group in the United States of America. They try to make it seem like it's the Nation of Islam. No, it's not. It's the right-wing evangelical Christians. They are the most racist religious group in the United States of America. It was Christian pastors. They were dying. Just like every week, every 2 weeks, I would see an article about one of them just dying. So let's get into some more racist stuff, because we can't let them ever sanitize Condoleezza Rice, the history that, or forget the history, the present day. George Floyd challenge resurfaces in West Genesee School District, Syracuse, New York. One day after Derek Chauvin was convicted of murdering George Floyd, a picture of two people reenacting Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck started circulating among students in the West Genesee Central School District. The George Floyd challenge began circulating on social media over the summer, where one person kneels on another's neck. White supremacists were doing this all over the country. They were doing it at Trump rallies. At Trump rallies, What do you mean this is not a racist country? What are you talking about? They want to make the country seem that it's racist. But this country is not racist, and it wasn't founded on, man, shut up. PragerU, we calling for the smoke, if y'all know what that means. Candace might know what that means, right? Candace might know what that means. We calling for the smoke.
Hey, I want to say something in response to what you read about Condoleezza Rice and her statements about. Let me take this mask off. I'm in the car. Her statements about, well, we don't need to take down the Confederate statues because we're sanitizing history and you know, look. If you're so concerned about what will happen, and you're not going to remember what happened during the Civil War, and just put up statues of the people that actually won the war and fought to end the war. Put up statues of the people that were victorious. Put up statues of the people who were fighting to end slavery instead of the people who got their behind kicked trying to preserve it. That's what we're talking about. Then go ahead.
Damn, my bad, Josh. The amazing. Some of these dudes be confusing me, man. He said, I don't like CRT because it doesn't offer solutions. It's just more victimization. Like, this is a right-wing talking point. That's why we read from the wiki page on what critical race theory actually is. And that's why I said it's vital for us to never let it lean too far left or let it be destroyed by the right. Like, come on, family.
You know what it is?
Come on, fam. Like, what is it? Go ahead, Ali.
The comment that he just made is really, like you said, it is the same talking points that they're making. Basically, what they want is for Black folks to suffer in silence. Like, whatever happens to you, deal with it. Just don't talk about it. Right?
That's right.
Whether you get justice or not is beside, like, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get justice when it comes to these racial incidents, particularly when it's at the hands of the police or some institution that has some kind of power in this country. You're not going to get justice. But what we want you to do is stop talking about it.
That's right.
So he's saying the victimization piece. But basically, people use that term victimization. Oh, this is like victimization porn. You're using that to say Black people who are actually victims need to be quiet about being victims. Don't say nothing about it. I don't care if somebody hurt you or your family or your children or took your children off of this earth unjustly. It doesn't matter. I don't care if Tamir Rice was killed unjustly. Stop talking about it.
That's right.
Like, stop it with this victimization stuff. Yes, you're a victim, but so what? Stop talking about it.
Nah. See, we not doing that over here, amazing. We're not doing that over here, beloved. We are not gonna let the right wing move us. We're not gonna let the fake talking points of pretendians move us. That's why this is Friedman. This is Friedman University, bro. So let's get to these next couple of articles, and let me post this one in the chat too. I just want to pull this stuff up so people can know that, like, this is not this is today. This stuff has just been happening in the past week or so and within the past month. We're not making this stuff up. And this victims, yeah, we are victims. We're being victimized. And then they're killing us. Cops are killing us and are able to cover it up for 474 days and then lie and say it was a car accident while the 2 prongs of a taser is hanging out this man's back. Are you kidding me? That's called being victimized. That's what critical race theory was set up to challenge: systemic racism, challenge the racism in the school system and what they were teaching, challenge the racism in the institutional systems and how they, in the political systems and the financial system. That's what it was dedicated to. How does whiteness and blackness play a role in keeping the people called white elevated and the people called black debased? But read up on it and stop listening to right-wing talking points. That's the problem with a lot of y'all. Y'all think y'all moving from one form of wokeness to another form of wokeness, but you just really moving into sleepwalking, following behind these Neo-Confederates. Period. Okay.
Yeah, I say it's kind of like that movie Inception, where you man, I done woke up from the dream. You ain't know you was multiple levels deep in them.
You multiple levels deep in the dream. Facts. Here's another one. This is May 21st, fam. It's a couple days ago. Tri-City parent outraged after daughter is called a slave at school. Pasco school leaders promised an investigation, yada, yada, yada. This comes after a student told LaSharia Weathers' daughter, when do slaves get to say no? After she refused to move in class. But Weathers is upset that the district is offering a lot of plans, but little in the way of action after a May 7 exchange and a follow-up conversation May 14th with Pasco High administrators. Both meetings left the mother of three frustrated and angry. I feel like at this point, this that victimization you talk about, amazing. I feel that like at this point, they have an outline. But how long is that outline going to take? Weathers told the Herald. Now it's a fact that this has happened and still nothing has happened. So you see, these people, these are children. Where do you think they're learning this stuff from? Where do you think they're learning this stuff from? They're learning this stuff from their parents. Okay, let's get into some more, right? Children, right? Connecticut student arrested in connection to racist Snapchat post. A Connecticut black teen was targeted by a racist Snapchat post allegedly made by a white classmate. A black teenager in Fairfield, Connecticut was the target of a racist Snapchat. Let me put this, I'm trying to remember to put these links in the chat. Put these links in the chat. Follow along with us so everybody know and can read this stuff and absorb it for themselves, because we ain't going to let nobody come over here and tell us what our eyes are seeing and what our ears are hearing and what our minds are processing. Not at all. 16-year-old Jamal Maydor was sitting in his Fairfield Ward High School homeroom on May 7th when a classmate who was white allegedly took a Snapchat picture of Maydor from behind, circling Maydor and writing, "Why is this nigger in my homeroom?" along with another line that said, "Why is he not in chains?" This is a high school, fam. Like, this is going on all over the country.
Right.
Victims. Okay, wait. We one more, because we want to deal with the children, because a whole breed of racist children are coming up right now, and they're trying to stop critical race theory, which is a ploy. It's not about critical race theory at all. It's about, we want to tell the lost cause history, in the Civil War, the way we want to tell it. We want to sanitize our role in the Civil War and in slavery. We want slavery to be this good, wholesome thing for black folk.
And we want to sanitize our role in Jim Crow and redlining,
right,
racial gerrymandering and prison gerrymandering. And we want to sanitize our role in all of the housing discrimination that occurred, and educational discrimination and employment discrimination. We want to sanitize our role in all of it.
We don't want none of that.
We're tired of hearing about it. Y'all making us uncomfortable, making us feel guilty. I don't want to hear it. Shut up.
Now, this one right here is the saddest. This one was the saddest right here. I seen this the other day. It just broke my heart, man. This little boy, my baby told me he was tired. First grader who killed himself, may have been bullied to death, parents say. So let's look at what it said. Let me see. Let's go down. Let me see. He wasn't a bad child. Okay. The hurting mother said that on December 20th, 2019, her son got off the bus with his head hanging down. "Why are you so sad? This is the last day of school," she said. "Shouldn't you be happy? It's Christmas break." According to his mother, he said, "I should. This is a first grader, but I'm not happy. I want to get away from that school. They don't listen to me. They don't like me." She said Taylor alleged students from various grades called him the N-word Blackie, Snaggletooth, and Ugly. According to the Cheneys, the students went as far as destroying her son's shoes and a pair of boots. It just seems like he was just being targeted and picked on, Jermaine said. He was just that one person that stood like this. This was racism. These were racists in the school picking on this young black boy, this first grader, that caused the first grader to take his life. This is racism in America. This is America. PragerU and anybody, I don't care, because you got a lot of these YouTubers, right? They come in the guise of manhood because they distancing themselves from the liberals, but they're going into the trap of the conservatives. So they think that they're going to get away with repeating the lie that America isn't racist. No, I challenge any one of them to come up on this platform on Be the Power. Any one of them that make that claim that this ain't a racist country, that somehow our people got wealth. We are one of the most wealthless group in the United States of America. We've been here since day one. Ain't no such thing as a dollar circulating in our hood for 6 to 8 hours. That's a myth. Somebody made that up when they was writing some book, and that the white dollar circulates. And for what Nas said that in one of his rhymes, the black dollar stay in the white dollar stay in the hood for days. Black dollar only stay for hours. That's just not true.
Yeah.
It's no proof. There's no record. There's no metric that proves that that's true. It's some made up nonsense. It's made up nonsense. And we got to start breaking out all
and
of
who
this
do you
stuff.
think? And who do you think made that up? You know, like what I'm trying to say is like, look, there's an article I was trying to pull up, but it was dealing with Richard Nixon administration. We got to go back to his administration again, because that's where a lot of this stuff started. When you talk about how we view ourselves and how we got indoctrinated into like a program where like they really played some mind screwery against us in terms of making us adopt the talking points and viewpoints of the white supremacists. So you take like Richard Nixon, he said, you know, we need to have a program of black capitalism. Well, we're gonna have like this this program. I can't remember what it's called, but go to Mercer Baradarian's book, The Color of Money. And this program is we're not gonna put any capital into it. We're not gonna put any funds allocated to it, but we're gonna make people believe that they don't want to be victims. They don't want to be they want to be self-respecting. They want to pull themselves by their own bootstraps. They don't need no government program. Meanwhile, we're gonna give all the government programs and funds to business and to white folks. You know, like business as usual. We're gonna get them to not be political. And we're gonna get them to, all we need to do is just show them a few stories of success, or what they would call Horatio Alger stories, and you know, and hold them people up, and then just get them to believe that you can do it too. Look, we don't have any wealth in this country. We have what? We're 12, 13% of the population with 2 or 3% of the wealth. And now with COVID, that's before COVID, and that's before, you know, people started making ridiculous wealth on cryptocurrency, and which we not really, we talked about on the program before. We're not heavily involved with, and especially amongst the beginning entrants of the market, or that have any large ownership of these coins. So man, it's like, we cannot have our people falling victim to the more modern or more recent iterations of these programs, where we get indoctrinated into white supremacist talking points and we don't even know it. Like we did a program some months ago, last year actually, talking about how white supremacist ideology has crept into quote unquote woke black or conscious black spaces. But now, like with organizations like PragerU, and y'all want to support Candace Owens and all that kind of stuff, like It don't even have to come from no conscious and woke black spaces. Y'all just straight up listening to them and following behind them. We got to do better.
Facts, facts. Brother Ali.
Peace. Yeah, man. Josh is absolutely right. You know, we're people are not even trying to mask it at this point and mask it in wokeness or consciousness. They just straight up Candace Owens and Burgess Owens, and that's unfortunate because some of these people, Candace is somebody else, but some of these people are actually our folks, and that's what's really unfortunate. I've had to have certain kinds of dialogues with members of my own family, about some of this stuff that we're talking about, because people adopt these particular viewpoints that are really anti-Black American viewpoints. And I don't know what it's going to take, man. I don't know what it's going to take to shake our people up and wake them up and snap them out of this foolishness. But it's unfortunate that we're having to deal with some of that. So, yeah, I wanted to go into certain, into the thing about the brother, but we probably don't really need to do that in terms of like the police down there, the state troopers in Louisiana, and whatever. We could probably do that tomorrow if you want.
Okay, we can. I can pull up this other article that you pulled up though, with Tyler Perry.
Yeah, now that one was from 2012, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a new incident, but the fact is it happened. And I know that Tyler Perry has changed, some of his position on police reform, etc. Some of his positioning on police reform is kind of retarded at this point, but particularly based on the fact that he went through this incident back in 2012, which, really had him shook up. And I remember him talking about it, but you could read from it and just look at how he described this racist incident.
Yeah, I'll close it out. He said it was so hostile. I was so confused. It was happening so fast that I could easily see how the situation could get out of hand very quickly. I didn't feel safe at all. Man, it was something else I wanted to share. Oh man, I gotta find this before we get off of here. Like y'all playing with the wrong ones today, or the right ones, depending on how you look at it. Let me pull up this post from Instagram real quick. Let's pull this up. Let us pull this up right here. You can't tell me, PragerU, that this ain't a racist country. And we just got to get louder, and we just got to keep growing. We as a movement took a little setback, but there's some planning and organizing going on behind the scenes. And we got the rally coming up, the reparations and justice rally. Reparations is justice, but we wanted to place emphasis on the justice part. But, some things are happening, and our voice is going to get louder. Our voice is going to get louder, just like every other political party started with in a minority form. We now understand what needs to be done, and we can't be played by the liberal left or the Neo-Confederate right. So let's play this. Let's play this. These are some brothers in a white neighborhood replace locksmiths that are, I think they're working on a lock, replacing a lock or something, but they were called by the homeowners, and they're brothers. Look at how these, let's blow this up, matter of fact. Look at how these race soldiers, let's show these race soldiers.
All right, okay. Well, we'll figure that out, dude. You got to. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. All right.
We're burglarizing the crib. We're working, changing locks. Oh my God! Look at this shit.
Look at this guy.
Is there anybody else in the house?
No, we're doing the work order. Changing the locks. You see the fucking drill set, right?
Look at this dude right here.
And we'll go.
You tell me. Yo,
that's wild, bro.
Look at this guy.
You can leave it on. I don't trust him.
He's telling them, put your camera down. He's talking to him like put your camera down. Like, you got to do what I say. This dude came out with the military grade weapon because somebody called the cops and said that these people were burglarizing this house, although they were called by the homeowners. Did y'all see that gun? Let's walk back. Let's
Yeah, that shit look
let's
crazy.
bring this back. Look at this guy. You don't think this guy came with the intent to murder somebody with this gun?
I can record it. It's free.
I don't want what you have in your hands.
No, I don't trust you.
You see what he said?
I don't
I
trust
just
you.
want it out of your hands. I just want, look at that gun, family. It looked like it has a compressor on it, a silencer.
Yep.
Look at that thing. Is that even legal? Can cops have weapons with compression units on them? Somebody let me know.
So he said, I want the camera out of your hands.
Yeah.
While he got a gun in his hand. What kind of logic is that?
Got what appears to be an assault rifle. Are you kidding me? Let's play it out.
Don't put it on him. We ain't doing nothing wrong. We're here to change a lock change.
Understood. We're here for a complaint. That's all.
Here for a complaint. This dude got a long gun with a compressor.
We ain't doing nothing wrong. Yeah, that's what we had to do.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but the officer said the report was they kicked the door in.
Yeah, we got to break the lock.
He said we got to break the lock. Look at his gun. I don't know if y'all seen his gun. This is the other officer. I don't know if y'all can see that good.
Can you zoom it in a
Look
little
at
bit?
that. You see the clip? I don't know
Can
if
you
y'all
zoom
can
in?
see the magazine, huh?
Can you zoom in?
Nah, I can't zoom in.
Oh, okay.
But damn, look at this. Look at this. They came with the intention that, in my opinion, that they was going to air these brothers out. This is racist America. This is systemic racism that critical race theory speaks to. Elimination of critical race theory then sanitizes this amazing and makes it say, oh yeah, them cops shot them people down that was changing their locks with their military grade weapons. But get over it. Stop being the victims all the time. Nah, not here. We not letting that slide.
Yeah, as opposed to like, first of all, why were the cops called? Were the cops called because they seen black folks doing some work on the door?
Yeah.
So they automatically assume that they criminals. They automatically assume they breaking in. Number
That
two,
looked like an M16. My bad. I mean, not an M16. That looked like an AR-15. I can't really tell, man, but this.
Yo, I'm sitting there. I say, yo, they're going to look at two cops. Y'all like, for real?
yeah. Number two,
For real, nigga.
why they coming to the joint with
military grade
armed to kill? Like they coming like they hitmen. You know,
That's
they
right.
coming. That looks like the gun from the game Hitman. You know,
That's
when
right.
when he need to take somebody out, we pull that joint out.
The dude that called the police was walking down the street.
Oh, well,
You
that
seen
looked,
him
I
at the
thought
end?
that was a cop.
Is it a cop? I figured
Yeah, I
it was
thought
the person.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
that was another cop.
it
And
could
you
have been
see
a
how you see how swole them cops are? That's why we got to get our young brothers back in the gym. That's one of the main things I'm trying to open up in my city. I'm in talks with some people right now trying to get a building. Like I work out like every single day. I work out, I shadow by, like I don't play. I go to the gun range. I do all of that stuff. I do all of it. And trying to set an example, man, because these race soldiers, they look at how they came. That's racism. That's racism.
Bare minimum, they came to intimidate and terrorize.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the nonsense about the cell phone, video recorded, and that's just like, I always say that white male cops are the only people in the United States who can't tell the difference between a cell phone and a gun. Nobody else has that problem except him.
Because he wanted to shoot. He wanted to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a weapon.
The cop had to think, damn, if I shoot, this is me guessing, if I shoot, he's recording. So I can't get away with saying that I thought it was something other than a cell phone.
That's right, Michael Jordan. The police are the enforcement arm of white supremacy. That's a fact.
That's Macaroni Mac in the building.
Yep.
That's Macaroni Mac. Hitflick said, who's going to break in the house and hang around the front door? Cops have been called on black realtors. The callers always lie about the black person's conduct. That's a fact.
Yep.
These people armed like they're ready to go to war. This is racism. This is white supremacy, PragerU, and we challenge you. We challenge, let me scroll up. What's her name? Amala Ekpunobi. We challenge you to a debate. We challenge Candace Owens, Larry Elder. Man, I have the whole list of these people up.
Hey, man.
We challenge them all. We challenge them all.
Yeah.
I tagged a bunch of them. Let's pull up. Let's let the family see what these people look like. Because these are this person right here, Carol Swain, this sister. Oh, she's dangerous, family. Oh man, you know what? Before we get up out of here, I gotta play her. She's dangerous. The ones who look like us are some of the most dangerous.
That's why they get them. That's why they recruit them.
That's
they pay
right.
them decent money. They raise their profile. Those are people that whole lives was not around in our community, around our people anyway. So they don't really have to be exposed to having to go see us, every day talking that stuff.
That's right. Now let me pull this up. I'm gonna just play this. It's real short. We gotta share this. Listen to this Carol Swain individual. These people are crazy. You want to see soft shoe? What my man Godfrey said? You want to see some soft shoeing? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, right here. Listen to her, family.
And I can tell you that critical race theory, as they're teaching it in this country, it is race.
Oh, what's going on?
Racism itself. It is white supremacy because it argues that all white people are oppressors, that they have a property interest.
Let me bring it back because it skipped a little bit. Just let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Hopefully it won't buffer. And it buffers.
And I can tell you that critical race theory, as they're teaching it in this country, it is racism itself. It is white supremacy.
Well, she said enough to let us know she ignorant on the subject.
What is going on?
It argues that all people are oppressors, that they have a property interest.
That's a lie.
In their whiteness.
That's a lie.
That they have to be.
That's not critical race theory. Doesn't teach that all white people do that. That's just a lie. She's a liar. Like we said, we ain't gonna call no names, right? So we trying to chill with terms like coon and Sambo and sellout, et cetera, et cetera. So we've been chilling tonight with those terms.
We ain't called none of them names.
We ain't called them none of them names, right? But liar, you're lying. Because we just read what critical race theory deals with. And it doesn't deal with all white people in that sense. Because you had radical Republicans, not today's right-wing Republicans, yesterday's left-wing Republicans of the Democratic Party who fought tooth and nail to abolish slavery. Let's finish. Hopefully this plays without buffering.
Forced to become anti-racist. And in many cases, they are violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Protection Clause. The Civil Rights laws protect white people as well as every.
Good God, boy! Good God!
Ask you about this too, because
stop there, Ray. I can't. Even.
Did y'all hear that crap? Bruh. Wait, Josh. Teaching critical race theory is racist. It's white supremacy itself. And that it then violates the Civil Rights Act of the 1960s because that's for white people too. We got fam, like we have damn, George, I didn't mean to cut you, but we got to fight on our hands because the liberals don't like us just as much as these right-wingers are not going to like us. We're disruptive to everybody's agenda and trying to fight for ourselves. Because them Democrat liberals, they don't care about us. They pretend to care about us. That's why Biden is in office doing nothing. I got your back because you have my back and I'm going to have your back. What? Where is it manifesting at? Where? These people are ridiculous and we got to keep fighting. And we are going to grow and grow and grow. And we got to start mending the relationships among ourselves because we can't fight this separate. We can't try to take on the causes and pattern ourselves after other movements because first and foremost, people are going to see through that. And then it's going to weaken the things that we're trying to do, period. Yo, you could be LGBTQ and a black person, right? I'm fighting for you as a quote unquote black American, meaning a descendant of freedmen, not as an LGBTQ person. I don't care about that. We got to distinguish the two. I fight for you. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you believe that you are a tree. That's your belief. You are oppressed because you are a descendant of freedmen in the United States of America. And that's a fact. And we got to know, we're going to go in tomorrow night. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about reparations and all of the proof that America just gave us over the past year and some change. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give some references and show what federal government assistance looks like in the rebuilding of people who are going through a recessive state, an economically recessive state. Or we're going to go in. We're going to go in. So, yeah, my bad, Josh. I just had to get that out, bro. Yeah, Josh. All right, so
Josh
yeah,
probably went out. But yeah, you know, we over the 2 hour mark, bro. I don't know how much further you want to go. You know.
Indeed. So, all right. I mean, look, let's address some of what's going on in the chat real quick. He is going to visit George Floyd's family. That's what Biden is going to do.
What's that about?
Nope. You know? PragerU literally thinks he meant to say reparations means giving $100 bills to black people on the street. I mean, nah, that's not reparations. And we want to have a challenge to anybody that hears this message and feels that we're off and that we don't know what we're talking about. Simply come up to the platform and prove us wrong. Go ahead, brother Josh.
No, I was just gonna say, man, PragerU, what's the other one? Turning Point USA. See, PragerU is popping because I think Candace Owens jumped ship from Turning Point USA and went over to PragerU. I think that's was that the case? Ain't she with PragerU now?
Yeah, she's with PragerU. I mean, I didn't know if she jumped ship.
Yeah, because she's married to the guy that used to be, I think, the president of Turning Point UK. See, we don't understand, like these organizations, man. These are like right-wing organizations that are not just domestic. It's not just America. This is an agenda that doesn't have anything to do with like us getting ahead or us getting some type of transformative policy. You notice they always make complaints. They never make any type of policy demands. Can you think of one type of policy demand that they're making specifically for black folks in America or Native Black Americans in America, freedmen?
Metro Customs they fired up, bro. USA fired up.
Yeah, well, hey, you knew that she was gonna go to the next up and comer.
Yeah, it's like a cop killing a black person and brutalizing a bunch of black people before he finally kills someone. And there's so many complaints that they, kick him off the force. That particular police department, I should say, and he just goes and joins another police department because that's how white supremacy does.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson. Come on, man.
Tucker Carlson. I would love to debate any of these people, man. Tucker Carlson, anybody on this whole list. I would just love to have that debate.
And you notice, like, again, when you ask them what type of policies are you advocating for that will fix our conditions, you notice it's always going to be just right-wing policies in general. You know, it's not going to be, well, reparations for the descendants of those who were enslaved, or we need to have certain amount of resources allocated just for our community here, or, you know, it's always going to be some iteration of some right-wing talking point or deregulation. They want you to just go in the free market, rugged individualism with no capital, or they want to leave it up to you. So you need to fix yourself. You need to, you know what I'm saying? You need to stop going to jail. You need to stay married to your women. You need to stop, you know, all these type of do for self type of things, but it's never any policy demands. It's never any policy ideas. It's none of that. And it's because any type of policy ideas that they would come up with, it would anger the white supremacist base that they bootlick for.
That's right. That's right, Josh. That is exactly what it would do. It's all, see, the key isn't about creating policy for black folk. It's pulling as many black people. Oh, you think about a lot of the people that follow the Republican or the Neo-Confederate talking points, right? And it is usually people who have money and some celebrity status. They're in a higher tax bracket than other black folk. And they agree with this isn't an idea, I don't want to use the wrong term, the traditional values of family. And I understand that part. See, we got to be neutral in how we analyze this thing. And we're going to render our determinations based upon our analysis of the thing, right? So we have to be neutral, though. We have to be emotionless, I should say. I don't want to say neutral. That's definitely the wrong term. But you got to kind of take a neutral approach to looking at all information before you start dissecting it. You don't want to just flat out dismiss it or accept it, right? So it's like, okay, well, we're going to look into this stuff first, and then we'll be able to give, deliberate and give a proper summation based upon what we've dissected from the topic. And that's what's going on with a lot of the right-wing talking points, is that they have a lot of points that appeals to those of us who are for traditional marriage and traditional family, et cetera, and not the stuff that they're trying to push with non-binary, or you can't say man and woman. You have to, like Cori Bush sat up there, she wouldn't even say black mothers and black fathers. So instead, she said black birthing people. Soon people is going to be a problem. They're going to come up with some word. We can't forget this Robert Woodson guy. Go ahead, Ali. I just wanted to pull him up too. He's another one. Yeah. He's the one that came up with the 1776.
Yes, Unite. That's
right. To go against the 1619 joint. And like I said, I have my issues. I want you to finish, Ali. I have my issues with the 1619 project only as it related to our reparations claim. And I said it back when it first came out, that they're going to attack the 1619 project because it's not the starting point of American history. It's colonial, right? And the colonial stuff all stretches back to Europe. When America becomes independent, now the remnants of what happened from slavery, servitude to slavery, that you got to bring that up. But when you're talking about the United States of America, you have to start at 1776. You have to. You have to start there. You can't give them any opening, or because they're going to seize upon it and they're going to exploit it.
And you know what's crazy? This is kind of the argument that we were trying to have with your Narcan and Cobra people that want to keep going back to 1619. And we keep trying. Remember, we were on social media trying to tell them, I think on Twitter, like, no, you can't go back to 1619. That's going to be problematic. It's going to give them room to create all types of arguments against what you're saying. Like the United States is a political body. Yeah, and it's not worth it, bro. That's right.
What's the point? You know, it's just, what's the point? Like, it's not like, oh, it's extra years we got to get, we're not calculating. That's not, I mean, I don't know. And y'all anti-cash payments anyway. So I don't understand it's not like you calculating, putting more years on the tab for us to get paid on, you know, if you anti-cash payments, you know, you trying to downplay all that. I mean, that don't even make sense. So what's the point? Just 1776 is America, keep it moving. We have plenty of atrocities done between 1776 and 2021.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, we're past the 2-hour mark. I mean, we can talk about this thing for another 2 hours straight, man, with all new content, to be honest with you. But we wanted to get on here tonight, and we wanted to explain critical race theory, not the way the right and their minions are trying to push it, like that Amala, I gotta keep Ekponubi, this woman, 20 years old, of immigrant descent.
She's only 20. She's
20 years old. 20.
Ah, man, she's a kid. What is she?
She's a kid. Man? She's a kid. It's 8:30, brother. Macaroni Matt, 8:30. We're gonna go in on, we're gonna do a little piece on reparations tomorrow night. But critical race theory was established to examine race. Books like this one right here. I'll hold this book up. White by Law. White by Law. This is a critical read and understanding how the judicial system legalized whiteness. Legalized it, because whiteness is not legalized in the Constitution of the United States of America. Go back and read the dissent of Justice Curtis and Justice McLean in the Dred Scott case. Who is we the people talking about? Oh, yeah, it's talking about us too. Go back and look at some of our past live streams on this topic where we break this thing down unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us different. That we are not on the left and we are not on the right. We are a policy-centered political advocacy group. We are an assembly of freedmen, all across the United States of America. And we are, I don't want to say repurposing the movement, but we are definitely resurrecting it. I don't want to say repurposing it, but we trying to, like, you know how they do them old schools, and they fix them up and they put the rims on them and the candy colored paint, new engine, up-to-date engines and all of that stuff. That's what we doing to the old Freedman vehicle. But we gonna bulletproof this one out. We gonna bulletproof this one out. You know? So what Prager University,
like in Escape from LA and Escape from New York,
that's
Terminator.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So, you know, we going put the challenge out to PragerU and all of its minions, all of them people that I had up on that screen. All of them people, right? My brother said Dane Calloway, Candace Owens, Larry Elder, and Tucker Carlson. Come on down to BTP platform where the price is right. Come have the debate. If we're wrong, prove us wrong. That's it. We'll capitulate. We will. We don't hold on to falsehoods. That's why I pulled back tonight. I got so much stuff that I wanted to go in on. And about an hour before we went live, I said, no, just be easy. Display much of this information over time, and let's see if we can invite any of these right-wing people on. Young Pharaoh. I mean, I've been calling Young Pharaoh name for years. He wouldn't dare. All that stuff he talks about, I'm the man, nobody can't touch me. Why haven't you debated me yet? You've seen the videos when I was calling you out years ago over Islam and the Moorish movement. Now we talking politics. You still don't want to debate. You still act like you don't see the challenges. Angela Stanton, come on the platform. Let's build. Let's have a discussion.
Wait a minute now. I like what she did with those guys.
Yeah, no, I love that.
To play that clip.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love what she does in how she's pushing back against how the liberal left is trying to force LGBTQism on us and our people and on American society in general, as opposed to just letting them people be. It's the percentage of those people are not who do they outnumber? What if you created LGBTQ as an ethnic group? Do they outnumber like any other ethnic group in the United States of America? I don't know.
That's a good question. Nah.
I don't know. Somebody said ABL might debate you. Who's ABL?
I don't know.
Metro
the anti-black league.
The anti-black league.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I need to know who ABL is, Metro customer. But come to the platform. If Candace Owens is right about the stuff that she's saying and she gets shut down before she gets a word out, come on this platform and come build with us, because we know what we talk about. Anthony Brian Logan. I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
Please, let's reach out to him. If y'all know how to reach this guy.
What is he on? What is he on? What is his position?
Oh, he's a brother.
I don't know nothing about to do.
Yeah, me neither. Anthony, but
like you kind of got to know, like what would we? Let me see, Anthony. Let me look him up real quick. Anthony Brian Logan.
I looked him up. I see him on Twitter. Yeah, he definitely looks like under his name where it says who to follow, Brandon Tatum, which is another one of those PragerU guys. Herschel Walker.
Come get cleaned up.
Come
we gonna
smoke.
We won't murder you too. I can't. Never mind. I can't promise that. I probably it might be an atrocity, bro. It might be an atrocity.
A natrocity. A natrocity, like that brother said on our platform. A natrocity. So somebody said maybe Charles Schoon. All right, let's see. Who is Charles Schoon? Let's get these guys.
Charles what? Charles what?
Charles
I thought we weren't using that type of language.
No, I think that's his last name.
Spoon.
Spoon. Yeah, Charles Schoon.
Oh, I thought you said Charles. I didn't think you said Charles Schoon. I thought you said Charles Schoon.
No. I don't see this guy.
Damn. I would. Well, he got the. I can't get over that name on my phone.
Yeah. So anyway, man, we've been on here. I can't find them though, bro. I just tried to look them up. But we're gonna see. We're gonna share this video out. Make sure y'all click like. Hit that super chat. Be the power. That Cash App. I mean, that's what I meant to say. The Cash App. We got the PayPal link in there now because people have been calling for that as well. Y'all know. Jason Whitlock. Oh, he has a show with Jason Whitlock. Oh,
that can't be his real name, man. That can't be his real. If that's his real name, that's one of those things where he just became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Him getting teased like that his whole life. Like, I might as well.
It was like this dude on Twitter that was trying to debate us when we was rocking with the ADOS movement. And this dude's literal last name was Bussy. Oh, man. We laughed on that. You remember that? Yo, we laughed on that thread, boy. That was funny. This guy's literal last name was Bussy. I was like, oh, hell to the nah, yo. Hell to the nah. But yeah, come get this smoke. Be the power. BTP is here. We different. We are different. The reparationist collective is different. The descendants of freedmen are different. We different. So, yeah, that was his last name. This dude's last name was Bussy, for real. I'm like, nah, dude, that can't really be your last name. And as soon as he commented, I said that, everybody just start going in on this dude. That was hilarious. That was hilarious, man.
How you spell it?
I forgot how he spelt it. It was Bussey.
Oh,
That was yo.
because I remember it was an actor
B-U-S-S.
named Gary Busey. You remember him? Bussey or whatever.
Yep. So, all right, fam. Look, Josh, Ali, y'all want any closing statements? I should say we don't. Ain't no real. I guess it is closing arguments. But
closing arguments.
Closing
That's
arguments.
funny.
They on trial.
That's funny. Nah, I don't have any closing arguments. Man. Peace to the family. Peace to everybody that tuned in. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I want to say to people that are watching this. See, a lot of you may hear people talking and having a certain thing that you may agree with. Just because you agree with one particular thing doesn't mean that you need to, now that you're in alignment with everything. And don't let people try to push you that direction, because they like to slow walk you. This thing is a whole like psychological warfare game that's being played. And you always want, and whenever you hear a person start spewing ideology, you always want to try to ask some questions to see. And then a lot of times they'll be happy to share with you some videos and some source material that they get their stuff from, to let you hear some of the videos and some of the things that got them charged up. They'll be happy to share. But if you see stuff coming from like Turning Point USA and PragerU, or any of them people that's associated with them, go and reference this video and just understand that that's anti-you. That's anti-you. They don't have nothing for you except for a continuation of the generational policies that keep us at the bottom, and stagnating or trying to throw a monkey wrench in the plans of any type of movement to get to move past that, right? And you got to understand that these people are going to be plants at your school board meeting, at your city council meeting, at state, any type of state and local politics, and I mean local. These people are going to be showing up, and they're going to be plants there, and you're going to have to shut them down. And that's why we got to start showing up more and coming from our perspective, because hey, a lot of is the stuff that they're saying, if they're the only quote unquote Negro there, if they're the only person there that's speaking on something, people gonna be kind of intimidated to challenge them, and they're gonna feel emboldened. And whereas you need to be the one that's louder than them, or matching them, with this information. Otherwise, they're gonna be able to influence a lot of those white folks, and they'll be happy to vote to maintain whatever system they have of white supremacy in your local area. So I just want to say that to y'all, that's something you can do. That's an action item. That's something you can do and look out for right now. Peace and love.
Indeed. So y'all already know what it is. Be back tomorrow night, 8:30. We're going to talk about reparations, man. And we got the rally coming up. We're going to have a conversation tomorrow night, because we want to show people what reparations can do. We're going to pull up this article. We're going to go through that thing, and we're going to go in tomorrow night, man. We're going to go in tomorrow night. So with that, PragerU. We on y'all heels, and we different. This ain't no Democrats. This ain't no shoe shuffling, Roland Martin demonstration over here. We different. We are complete. Let me blow me up a little bit. Let me blow them to see my eye. We are completely different. We are different. And we on y'all heels from here on out. So let me close out with the motto of the platform, which is don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.